What's going on, guys? This is your boy Astrom Sensei and welcome to my brand new Unreal Engine 4 Beginner's Guide free course. I hope you've already watched my introduction video, which I explained in what I'm going to be doing in this series and how it differs from my previous one. I said that I'm going to be doing shorter videos but more common ones. Last time I made the videos too long and it became a little bit discouraging for the beginners to learn it when the videos are too long to follow. So we're going to be doing it very simply, bit by bit, and yeah, it's going to be like a very basic series where you will learn the basics of the Unreal Engine. Without further ado, let us get started. But before we do, please make sure to like the video and subscribe if you are new to my channel, because that would really be great and you would not miss out on a lot of tutorials if you subscribe, because I'm doing a lot of tutorials this year. So yeah, let us get started with the tutorial and let us go. So I'm gonna assume that you've already downloaded the Epic Games launcher and installed the Unreal Engine 4. Now that you have Unreal Engine 4.26.0 or higher installed, what you want to do is you just want to press launch, and that should just launch the engine and show you how to create a brand new project. Project creation is very simple. The launcher should close by itself and you should see this thing where it shows you that the Unreal editor is opening and it's initializing. So now that the engine is open, you can see some of your recent projects, some stuff that you've opened recently. They will be displayed here. Of course, these are my projects. What you can do is you can choose to create a brand new project. You have the option to create games, film, television and live events, architecture, engineering and construction, automotive, product design and manufacturing. Of course, we're going to go with games. That's what we're here for. Just click it and click next. We have blank, first person, flying, puzzle, rolling, third person, top down, twin stick shooter, handheld, AR, side scroller, 2D side scroller, vehicle, virtual reality, vehicle advanced. So for the first project, we are going to go with third person. We are going to go through most of them actually. We want to try out different things in this series, but for the first few videos, we are going to go with the third person project because that's the one I'm most experienced in, and I want to show you how to customize it first and make it your own game. So yeah, just click third person, click next, and you should have a few options here. You can choose whether to create Blueprint or C++ project. C++ is the programming language used by Unreal Engine. It's a bit complicated if you don't know C++ programming. In that case, you can choose Blueprints, which is the more basic route you can go with. Blueprints are basically visual coding where you can do programming without actually writing code. So I'm really experienced with Blueprint, but not really with C++. However, I want to learn C++ and make a tutorial series for it later. But yeah, not now. We're going to go with Blueprint for now. Then you can choose the quality of your project. So the graphical quality, we're going to go with maximum quality. You can choose if ray tracing is disabled or enabled in your project. We're going to go with disabled because enabled takes a lot of time to open the project and we don't have that time right now. Then you can choose here if you are targeting the game towards desktop and console or mobiles and tablet. We're going to go with desktop. And of course, you can choose to have starter content in your project, which is basically a few assets that you can use in your project or, to test out your game. We're going to enable starter content. And over here, you can choose the location of your project files and the project name. I'm going to call it beginner game, and basically just click the create project button and the project should be created within seconds. And now the project is open. As you can see, you have some stuff that you need to learn over here, but basically this is the viewport and this is where most of the work will be done by you. And of course, if you press on it or you press the movement, you can see that you cannot move. There are special controls for this. For starters, I want to keep this simple. So we're going to learn the very basics and I'm going to go through them again next time. Basically, if you want to move around in the viewport, you have to press the right mouse button and hold it. And with it held, you can see that you can look around in the viewport, and to move, you want to go with W, S, A, and D. and that way you can move around in the viewport as if it was a first-person flying game. If you want to play your game to test it out, there is a play button here. You can press it and that should activate your game, and you just move around in your game. It's basically a third-person walking game with a jump button. Over here we have the Place Actors tab where you can get stuff. For example, you can drag in the cube over here and that should put in a cube in your game. And there are a lot of other things we are gonna learn here. This is where you place a lot of stuff. For example, lights. You can place in lights. You can place in camera actors where you can just see through the camera. For example, like this. And of course, you can use the camera actors for gameplay if you have static cameras in your game. But we're gonna go through that later also. You have visual effects where you can add in fog. And yeah, this is basically a lot of basic stuff that you use throughout your game, even in professional games. It's not just for blocking out. So next we're gonna be looking at the content browser, and this is where you import all of your stuff into the game. Any 3D models, any assets, everything goes into the content browser. You just drag and drop them, or you can add them by pressing import and import to game, and that will just import your assets. For example, in the starter content here, if you press it, you have several things. Audio. You can hear that there is an audio file over here. There are a lot of stuff here. For example, let's go with props. There are some 3D models here that came with the engine. You can just drag them and drop them from the content browser into the viewport, and that should just place them in your level. So as you can see, you just place a lot of stuff, and if you press play, they are in your game. Everything goes here, even the blueprints, the code, everything is in the content browser. Next we have the details panel. If you have something selected, the details panel should show you some settings for it. For example, we have the scale here. If you change it from 1 to 5, it should make this chair huge, as you can see. And you can change the material, which is the texture, and add physics for it. We have to activate this, and let's get it back to the original size. So if you go there and hit the chair, you can see that the chair can move. Very amazing stuff. Next up we have the world settings, which is some game settings that the level can store. We're gonna go through them later, so just ignore it. We have over here the world outliner. Basically everything that you've placed in your level will be placed here. A list, and you can search and group them and add them into folders. We're gonna go through it later also, so please look forward to that. Over here we have this bar where you can save your progress or change the settings of your game, project settings, or change the blueprints or open one of your blueprints in your game. Cinematics, which is the sequencer where you create cutscenes. Display button, which plays your game. And launch, which launches your game separately from the engine. We're not gonna try it, it takes some time. Next up we have some settings here in the viewport. You can go with this button and it will show you the top view. Of course you can't see the top view unless you change this one to lit. So basically lit or unlit shows you in 3D. Brush wireframe shows you in wireframe the polygons. We're not gonna learn that now. Just choose lit, and as you can see your level from the top. And if you change that to bottom, you can see it from the bottom. Left, if you delete the wall, you can see everything from the left, as you can see. And we have right, front, back, or you can choose to see it through this camera actor. Let's go with perspective, which is the original mode. Oh, how do I turn off the camera? Yeah, we just eject the camera. And next, this is where you choose the lighting mode. I already showed you lit and unlit and wireframe. There are a lot of stuff here, and we are gonna go through them later. Next, you can choose whatever tool you wanna use. For example, with the chair selected, you can go with either move, rotate, scale, which makes it bigger. And yeah, you can choose between those three. I really recommend using them with the keyboard though. You can use E for rotate, R for scale, and W for moving your things. Next up we have this button, which cycles the transformation gizmo. When you have something rotated, if you have this button pressed, you can choose between having it go like this, or you can choose the direction of the arrows or the tools over here to change however you want, however the chair is rotated. So as you can see, it's just a very different thing. You really need to use this a lot, this tool, to cycle between them through your game development process, because it's very useful. Over here you can choose how much your items snap when you want to move them. For example, if you press 100, you can see that the movement between the spots on the floor isn't very smooth. If you go with something like 500, you can see how much it snaps when it goes back. Or if you go with something like 1, it's a very smooth thing. If you don't want it to snap at all, you can just disable it using this orange button, and it will be like very smooth like butter. Of course, the same thing goes for the rotation and the scale. And over here you have the camera speed, which is how much your camera moves, how fast your camera moves when you walk around in the viewport. You can just make it 8 and you can see that you fly very fast through the level. Or you can make it 1 for more accurate and tight spaces, and it will be like super slow. So yeah, this is very useful. Also, you will be cycling a lot through this through your game development process. So this is it for the first video. I really wanted to make it very basic and short and simple. I know I didn't teach very detailed stuff, but the last time I did it, I kinda regretted it because I just put in too much information for a beginner video, and I wanted to redo the entire series again. So I really hope this one turns out well. If you guys have enjoyed the video and if it was useful, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for daily Unreal Engine and Unity tutorials. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next part. Take care, have a great day, and bye.